Happy Tuesday, everyone, and happy birthday, Pam V. I hope you have a great day on your birthday today. We are going to get you guys a great arm pump happening today, so stay tuned for that. We are about to talk to you about the warm-up first, though. Our warm-up is going to get you ready, all upper body stuff today. It's going to be a lot of love and core work here. So we have a plank walkout for 20 seconds of just dynamic kind of movement from that plank to walkout. If you'd like to hold those positions anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds on each end of the movement, that'd be perfect, depending on how comfortable you are with that work set. After that, we have a forearm plank to dolphin for 3 to 5 and a 3-second hold in each position. And then we have a prone shoulder raise for 10 alternating reps, 1 to 2 second holds in that raised position. 3 rounds of that, really time to get that heart rate kind of zoned in a little bit lower in that opening sequence, but it's really going to generate some good heat in that opening piece in the shoulder and the core. After that, we have a quad plank hold for 3 to 10 seconds, humeral glide to knee push-up for 3 to 5, and then a floor pike hold for 3 to 10 seconds for 3 rounds there. And they're going to finish off with a little bit more specific movements to practice, which is going to be a dumbbell floor press for 5 a side, dumbbell pullover for 5 at 3-second eccentric, and a deadbug for 6 to 10 alternating reps. You're going to look at that for 3 rounds, and you're going to move into that next phase, which is the work set for 5 rounds. So we got 5 rounds of a handstand hold at 60 seconds, accumulative, so if you can't hold for a full 60, you'll accumulate 60 seconds in that handstand hold. Then you're going to move into dumbbell floor press for 45 seconds. So you're just going to go dynamic in that floor press. If you have 1 dumbbell, you're just going to work on half the time on that 45, and then half on the other side. From there, we have a dumbbell pullover for 30 seconds of just getting reps in that time frame, nice and smooth, which we'll walk you through. They're going to finish off with 15 seconds aside and a forearm side plank reach through. So you're just going to have some time to kind of play and see where we're at. Each of these movements is going to get progressively slightly harder as you go, especially with the compounded fatigue as you start building into those movements and work sets back to back to back. So be prepared. It's going to be a good arm pump. This is all about quality of movement, you guys, and getting good quality reps in. So I hope you guys enjoy and have fun with this one. But let's get you warmed up. All right, let's do this. Let's get those feet under those hips. Let's take those arms big and tall up overhead. We're going to clasp our fingers, press way up and reach. And then we're going to come back over and reach. And then we'll come back up overhead. Bring those hands straight out to the front, rounding out those shoulders in the back. Get that good upper body rounding. And then we'll open up into that T. Turn those hands in. Turn them out. Turn them in. Turn them out. Turn them in. And turn them out. Big stretch. Scratch your back with one side. Big reach through the side body. Come back up. Big stretch. Scratch your back on the other side. Big reach. Back up, big stretch, and we'll forward fold, touching those toes. Walk up the shins. Gonna come down, planting both hands. Stepping back into our plank. We're gonna pull everything into those ribs and hips. Pulling those hips back and up into that down dog. And come back into our plank. And then from here, pull back up into our down dog. Setting those shoulders really well. Come back into our plank, and we'll step that left leg up into that lizard. You take that outside hand, big reach to the sky. Come back down. And then we're going to take that outside hand again, big reach to the sky. And back down. One more time, open up, big reach. And back down. We're going to step back into our plank. Pull back into that down dog, reaching those hips high. Come back into that plank. One more time, pull back into that down dog. Come back into that plank, step the other foot up. Nice and square in those hips. Outside hand, reach to the sky. Come back down. Outside hand, reach. Back down. One more time, outside hand. Back down, step back. Into that down dog. Come back into your plank. Back up into that down dog one last time. Come back into your plank. Tiptoe those feet up. We're going to roll ourselves all the way up. Big stretch. Little reach. And reach. come down with those hands. Let's get you ready to go. All right, you guys, let's have some fun today. If you'd like to do some more gentle stuff, maybe for the wrists, maybe a little bit more lizard lunging, whatever you need to do, please do so. Take that down now. But we're gonna work you through that first phase of warm-up, which is again gonna start off with our plank walkout. So this movement stems from our plank or our knee plank. I'm gonna show you a couple reps from both. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna establish that good plank first. So I'm gonna pull my hands underneath my shoulders. I'm gonna pull my ribs and hips into my good hollow, press my shoulders to the ceiling, and then I'm gonna walk my hands out to wherever I feel comfortable, pulling everything into that hollow, getting that nice soft bracket position, and then walking my hands back into my plank. If you'd like, in between these reps, to give yourself a little break and give yourself a nice cat-cow curl, that's a nice addition to this work set, just to give you a nice little break. You have 20 seconds to get as many or as few reps as you would like in this work set. So if you'd like to add in those cat-cows, there's nothing wrong with that. All right, I'm hoping that you get at least 3 reps in for the plank walkout in that 20 seconds, but again, it really depends on what you're adding in or how long you're holding. Now, if you're not quite comfortable with that, or if you've been doing it from the toes and you're like, well, I can't really get that far out, I can only take like a step. What you can do to kind of fill the void there, set up in your plank, lower your knees down to your knee plank, and then walk your hands out into that nice hollow, and then walk your hands back into that knee plank. That can allow you to get more comfortable with getting further out and building that comfort in that shoulder girdle as you get those arms more extended outwards. So it's a nice kind of fill of the gap in terms of that full plank position. So either one, play with it, have some fun with it. If you would like to say, I want to add that cat-cow curl in, please do so. We're looking again though for that good strong shoulder position, that nice tight pull in through the hips and ribs. So focus on those key points, not how far out you get. All right? From there, we're going to work on our forearm plank to dolphin, and this is a challenging movement because it's really taxing on the triceps and the lats. So what we want to do is we want to get set up in a good forearm plank first. So I get my elbow stacked under my shoulder, I step my feet back into my nice hollow plank right here, and then I'm going to pull my hips back and up like a down dog, keeping my armpits kind of pointed towards my thighs, except I'm going to walk my feet in a bit, and I'm going to push back towards my feet with my armpits, keeping my knees soft, getting in that good position, feeling those triceps and those lats say hi, and then come back into my plank. So very similar kind of idea to what we want to have for our down dog, with that armpit pointing towards those thighs, nice strong wrap around of that lat. The only difference is that you're putting a little bit more stress on that tricep and lat because you're shortening the lever. So don't necessarily worry if you can't get quite as far back or feel that nice extension like you can in the down dog. It's going to be a slightly different feel in this one. So walk your feet in a little bit if you need to, walk them back out to come back into that plank, and just have some fun with these ones. We're looking at 3 to 5 reps at 3-second holds per position. After that, we're going to lay on our stomach, and we're going to work on that single arm prone raise. So I'm going to get myself set up, arms out nice and straight, toes together. I'm going to squeeze my toes down into the floor a bit, squeeze my glutes, pull my ribs and hips in, press my armpits down, press my hands down, and then keeping this engagement, I'm going to lift one arm only up, hold for a couple seconds, put it down, establish the tension, and then I'm going to lift the other arm up, maintaining that tension, and then set that position again. So I'm always setting that position on that arm that I put down again before I lift the other. I don't want to turn it into a back and forth. I want to make sure that that arm is set before I lift the other side. When I come back down, I'm pressing, setting it, and then lifting. And I'm only lifting the arm and the shoulder, not the body and the chest. It's just my arm. So I want you to try and keep your nose as close to the floor as you can, and that proximity shouldn't change as you continue through the lift. So as a quick recap, you guys, we have a plank walkout for 20 seconds, as many reps in that time frame as you can, or as few reps as you can in that one. So I want you to think quality over quantity. Forearm plank to Dolphin, 3 to 5 at 3-second holds in both positions. And then our prone shoulder raise at 10 alternating reps, 1 to 2 seconds per lift. So not a long hold, but long enough to feel. 3 rounds of that. Pause the video, take that down, work through it, and then we're going to get you guys going on that next phase, which is going to be a little bit more upper body and plank work. So we're going to go into our tabletop for this next phase, and we're going to do our quad plank. So I'm going to get myself set up in my table, knees under the hips, my toes curled under, my hands under my shoulder. I'm going to set my core and shoulder position before I lift. So I pull my ribs and hips in, press my shoulders to the ceiling, and then I lift my knees about 1 inch off the ground. And I'm just going to hold this position, pulling everything into that center line, holding nice and tight, and trying to be as flat as I can through that back, just like a table. I'm going to do 3 individual reps at 10 seconds so I can get used to engaging and resetting that position in between each rep. From there, I'm going to lower down to the floor and I'm going to work that humeral glide knee push-up. So my hands are going to come beside of the chest. They're going to be a little bit away so I have a nice 45 degree on my arms. I'm going to pull my shoulders forward. I'm going to pull my shoulders back, and that shouldn't really change my elbow position too much. My elbow should stay over top of my wrist. I'll pull my ribs and hips into that little hollow, and then I'll press into that nice knee push-up. Maintaining that little hollow, that rib and hip pull, I'm going to lower forward and down, keeping those arms at a 45, and that elbow stacked over my wrist. Then I'll reassess, pull the shoulders, set them back, rib and hip, press to my knees, and then I can add any little tempo if I like, or non-tempo, whatever's going to give me the cleanest rep I can in that push. Remembering too, if we can't quite get that all the way push up without losing that position, so we will always want to maintain that core position. So if you break, I only want you to take it to where you can maintain and then hold that isometric hold. So it might be 1 inch off the floor, it might be a couple inches off the floor, but we want to build that strength in that hollow position as we build that push. So take your time. If you're doing that isometric hold for about 3 to 5 seconds, lower with control, reset and do the next rep. Our next exercise we're actually going to do is in place and can be used in place of the handstand hold, which is the floor pike hold. So we're going to get ourselves into our tabletop again, but this time we're going to bring our knees together, our toes together, and my hands underneath of my shoulders. I'm going to pull my ribs and hips in, press my shoulders up, and then I'm going to lift my hips, pressing my legs straight, keeping my shoulders over my hands, and I'm pressing up to the sky, pressing through with those hips and pressing those shoulders to my ears. I'm keeping a soft gaze at my feet with my eyes, and I'm going to hold this position. So again, like the quad plank, I'm going to hold for 10 seconds, lower down, reset the position, and then hold for another 10. So I want you guys to really think about being in that good handstand. So we're pressing those shoulders to the ceiling, gripping the floor, pulling this in, and I want you to, with that shorter hold, I want you to really feel that engagement for the entire hold. Quick little recap, you guys. We have quad plank hold for 3 at 10 seconds, humeral glide to knee push-up for 3 to 5 reps, floor pike hold for 3 at 10 seconds, 3 rounds. So we'll take that down, get you guys fired up, pause it, take it down, come back to me. We're going to talk about a little bit of dumbbell work and then take it from there. So our next phase is going to be working with our dumbbell work. So we're going to get that dumbbell out and I'm going to grab some floor space. I'm going to do some floor presses for 5 aside. If you have 2 dumbbells, you can rock 5 presses, and that's fine with 2 dumbbells. If you only have the single, that's also fine. My feet are going to be just outside my fingers, kind of like a bridge setup. I am going to have some space between my low back and the floor. I'm going to pull my ribs in, but I'm not going to try and hollow out. I'm just keeping everything tight. My shoulders are pulled back into the ground, so my shoulders are in good position. My dumbbell and wrist are going to be stacked over top of my elbow, so we don't want our arm collapsing in towards our body or our chest. It's going to be out here on this 45 degree, just like we would be if we were doing push-ups. And I'll show you from the front angle for a second, but I have this nice other hand out here for a balance if I'm using a single, squeezing my glutes, my feet are tight, and I'm
I'm gonna press that dumbbell from my sternum to my chest. And then I come back down on that 45, and I press 45 degree at the armpit, and I press. So I'm gonna work on 5 good reps per side. So I'm gonna face the front for a second so you guys can see my armpit angle at the arm. So I'm down, I get this position set up, my elbow and armpit out at that 45, and my wrist is stacked over top of my elbow, not collapsed inwards or collapsed back. It's nice and stacked over top. So then when I do my reps, I press up over the chest, I come down to the sternum. Chest and sternum. So I have a good chance to work on that nice kind of tripod position like we work on in our push-up, but with our dumbbell floor press, okay? So play with that a little bit, you guys. Have some fun. Take your time with those reps. And just remember, sometimes when I get too excited and I bring that dumbbell down, sometimes I bounce my elbow off the floor. Take your time. I like to think pull the arm down, and I find I get a little bit more control on the dumbbell if I think pull than just lower, right? My next dumbbell movement is our pullover. So I'm gonna take my dumbbell, same position, all right? So my feet are just outside my hips. This time though, I'm gonna pull my ribs and hips together, hollowing out so there's no space between my low back and the floor. I'm gonna take hold of the dumbbell. I'm gonna keep soft elbows, and I'm gonna lower that dumbbell down to the floor. This is not meant to be a fast, aggressive movement. We're looking at control. So I like to think press into the dumbbell as I'm lowering it down. So as I lower, I kind of press into the dumbbell a bit, especially when I get to this area, because I want to keep it under the best control I can. If you have a little bit more range of motion, we can hold it by the bells. Elbows are still soft, and I'm gonna still lower it down, except I'm gonna lower it till I touch both ends of the bell on the floor and then come back up. So it's gonna give me just a little bit more range of motion, holding it this way opposed to this way. So see which one you have, play with the range that you have, take your time with those. Those do not have to be fast. It's quite a lot of stress on the pec and the arms, so we want to make sure we're engaging that as much as we can. After those pullovers, we have a 3-second eccentric on each one of those. We're going to lay down without a dumbbell and get ourselves set up for our dead bug. So I'm going to get myself set up, same position, dumbbells away. I'm just going to lift my legs up so I'm at a 90 degree like I'm on the floor. My low back is still pressed. My hands come up like I'm on the table on the floor but flipped upside down. And then I'm going to extend, still squeezing my ribs and hips together as far as I feel comfortable, and then I come back in. And then I alternate as far as I feel comfortable, and then back in. And these are not fast. We want to make sure that we're working our coordination, our control of our ribs and hips, keeping that low back into the floor, and also working on the best control we have, taking that arm and that leg apart, and then coming back together. So we want to try and isolate that opposite side of the body. So slow reps, take your time, and only go as far as you can keep that low back in contact with the floor. Quick recap, we have a dumbbell floor press, 5 per side or 5 with 2 dumbbells. Dumbbell pullover, we have 5 reps, 3-second eccentrics, that's 3-second lower press, and then we have 6 to 10 alternating dead bugs for 3 rounds total. So take that down, feel it out, feel that floor press, get kind of acclimatized to that movement because we're going to use that one in the work set with that dumbbell pullover back to back. So let's get you paused and ready. Take that work set down. Come join me. We're going to talk about some handstands. All right, so the workout. We have 5 rounds. We kickstart off the workout with handstand hold, accumulating 60 seconds. Then we're going to move into our floor press, which we covered quite extensively in our warm-up. So if you need any cues for that, scroll back, review the dumbbell floor press in our warm-up. Same with the pullover. All right, we had a pretty extensive explanation of that in the warm-up as well. So scroll back and check that out. And then we finish off our round with a forearm side plank reach through for 15 seconds per side. So what we're going to start off with is just talking about some handstand hold options. So first things first, if you do have wall space and you're comfortable with kicking up or walking into the wall,
Please use that as your chance to practice that handstand. You can work on your handstand completely vertical, at a wall angle, working on that hollow, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you're like, I don't have wall space, but I do like going upside down, but I have a couch or a coffee table I can put my feet up, or a chair, then we can use this. I have a box handy, so I'm going to pretend that this is an ottoman or a table at home. So a couple different variations we can play with our handstand hold is I'm going to get my knees on the box. I'm going to get myself set up on the floor nice and close. I'm going to pull my heels to my glutes, press my armpits towards, angle those armpits towards the box, press those shoulders to the ears, and keep my eyes towards the box. So I'm in that nice stacked vertical position as best I can for that handstand from my knees. And that's a nice place to start. It takes away a little bit of the loading on the shoulders and the arms from being on the knees, and it also takes away some of that hamstring engagement that we need, or flexibility in the pike position, which we're going to go to next. So knees on, nice and stacked, hand, elbow, shoulder, hip as best we can. If we have a little bit more range in our hamstrings, I'll put my feet in the middle of the box. I'm going to get my legs nice and straight, walk my hands in, so I'm nice and stacked, same position, hands, elbow, shoulder, hip. I'm going to press through the floor, eyes to the box, armpits pointing towards the box, and I'm going to do that box handstand. From there, I can work on an elevated plank. So if I don't like necessarily being vertical, but I like to step my plank up, I can do a horizontal plank with my feet on the chair or box. So I get my shoulders over top of my hands, my feet are up on the box, I'm going to pull my ribs and hips in, press my shoulders to the sky, and hold this elevated plank, and get a little bit more load on my shoulders. All right? So that's another option with a chair or ottoman that you can play with that's not completely vertical. Now, we talked about our floor pike hold in our warm-up as well. That's also another option in our work set if you'd like to hold that for your handstand as well. It's a beautiful option to help build that engagement and that comfort, still getting that vertical position, but not having your feet up against the wall or on an ottoman, so you're a little bit more controlled with your feet on the floor. It's a great opportunity. I love them because you have a really good chance to work on that core engagement and that shoulder engagement with a little bit more stability from the floor. So if you need a little recap on that one, check back in our warm-up, floor pike hold. We have that opportunity to play with that in our workout. Now if you're like, yeah, I don't really necessarily want to go vertical, we can take that nice plank position that we've been working on, pulling our ribs and hips in, pressing those shoulders to the sky, and activating through that nice floor plank. So we can do that, taking that all the way from a vertical position to a horizontal position. Neither option's right nor wrong. I just want you to choose the piece that's going to challenge you the most for today and allow you to further your abilities in that handstand and or isometric hold the best. The biggest thing I want you guys to think about is always, regardless of the option we choose, be it vertical or horizontal, we're always gripping and active through the floor. So we want to make sure that we're gripping and active through the hands to displace that weight through the mid portion of the hand and not lazy hand and going everything into the wrist. So I want you guys to think about gripping into the floor. We get those like eagle talons into the ground, and that's what we want to think about. Or those nice bear paws, just grip into the ground and hold strong. Our last exercise in our work set today in terms of our workout is a forearm side plank, reach through. Challenging movement, getting to work on some rotation. But again, we have two options here. We do these quite often in warm-ups, but we're going to use this as a chance to work on some more shoulder and upper body work in our workout. So my elbow is under my shoulder. I can go straight legs, hips come up, arm is to the sky. So this is position one. I rotate my arm through, keep pressing through my forearm as I reach through, and I get a little rotation, and then I come back up. And I'll just repeat that for 15 seconds per side. From there though, I can also bend my knees, get my feet behind me as a little extra stability, squeeze my glutes so my hips open, and I come up off the floor, and I can work my rotation this way as well. Continuing to push through that arm and that forearm to get that nice rotation and control. Just remember that if we do it from our knees, we're not gonna have as much rotation because the hips can't move like they can with the straight legs. And that's okay. It's gonna allow you to maintain a nice, strong side plank position as you work and build into that rotation. So whichever one works for you, play with it, have fun with it today, and work it to your best abilities. Today's workout, again, as a quick recap, we have 5 rounds, 60-second accumulation of a handstand hold or handstand hold variation, 45 seconds of dumbbell floor press, so that's 45 seconds total, so you'll just half the time per side, or just go with 2 dumbbells if you have access to 2. Then you're gonna do 30 seconds of just nice, smooth dumbbell pullovers with one of your dumbbells, and then you'll flip to the side and you'll work on that reach through. Now, this workout is all timed and has some time kind of variations to it. I'm not looking for a crazy amount of reps, but I am looking for quality reps. So if you can pump out the speed and still maintain quality, give her. But if you gotta take a little extra time on certain ones, especially the pullover, please do so. Focus on quality over speed, and that'll take you very successfully to the end of the work set. I hope you guys have fun with this one today, you guys. You're gonna get a good upper body pump. Tomorrow we got some fun stuff coming your way with a little bit more endurance strength coming at you, but I hope you enjoy your day today, you guys. Pam, happy birthday. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye.